Hi ladies, it is Tuesday the 15th. I apologize for not sharing a video last week, but thank you for being patient. My entire family was sick with, I'm not sure what, just probably a regular cold that my son brought home from his first day at toddler class. But my dad was also in the hospital with pneumonia for 6 days. So luckily he got out yesterday. Yesterday was his birthday and he got out yesterday morning. So all is feeling better in my world, and so I am delighted to get back in touch with all of you. I had a chance to text with most of you yesterday, just to catch up and see, anything I missed during the week off. I hope you took extra time, the hour that you normally would have spent watching this video, to do some extra self-care for yourself last week. And so this is considered week number 8 of our program. We've got 12 weeks in total. And this week is introducing the spring season. So it's the season of self-expression in partnership. So if you go through those 4 phases of self-awareness, self-care, self-expression, and self-love, and then turn those in relationship, it becomes fall, winter, spring, summer. And so last lesson we talked about winter. And so today I want to introduce how you graduate from the winter season and what it feels like to experience your spring season, and how to make the most of that while you're in it, in relationship, in partnership. And then next week we will talk about how to graduate from the spring season and enjoy your summer season. So today, finishing up with last week, talking about winter and introducing how to graduate from the winter season. So we started in fall, and fall is the season of lessons and kind of your back to school mode, and being a little more analytical than you might at other times. And that often can raise things that trigger you and fights that, you need open communication in a relationship to have things sorted out. And sometimes that happens in a fight. Sometimes it can happen in just real serious conversation. Sometimes it just happens through happenstance. Things come up and you're able to work through them in relationship. So that is the fall season. And if you're not in relationship, then that is often a dating season, and figuring out what it is that you stand for, do want, don't want, all of that. And so to graduate from your fall season is to really identify your self-worth and no longer settle for something less than you want, less than you deserve, and to accept that maybe that means being alone, and that is better than settling for something less than what is in alignment with the best version of yourself. So that's the fall season, and graduating from it is really that self-worth and willingness to be alone rather than settle. And then winter, we talked about last time, is going kind of introverted and doing the introspection necessary based on all of the lessons that you've learned during your fall season, and really sitting with those and ruminating on them and seeing what comes of it when you process everything that you learned in the fall season. And so that is often a time of solitude and quiet contemplation. And so to graduate from the winter season is really it often is it's time. More than anything, it's however length of time it takes for your energy to switch, for your mindset to change, so that everything that you're processing from that fall season has had a chance to sink in and find its way within you. And often I like to think of the winter season as a hibernating bear, a mama bear. So when she is impregnated, she goes off by herself to find a cave to hibernate for the winter, and realizes that she's pregnant, and so she eats as much as possible, gets all the nutrition from life that she can before she goes into solitude. And so that's kind of how I look at the fall season, is taking everything in. And then winter is that hibernation period to really see, use what's meant for you. And if she's pregnant, she will actually have her cubs in the cave while only half awake, not even half awake. And then in the springtime, she'll wake up to her partially grown cubs, like they were born and kind of raised themselves nursing on her in the cave through the end of winter. And so she wakes up in spring with these lively, amazing cubs that have been nurtured to a point of being ready to go out into the world. So that's kind of what you're doing to your own psyche and to your own heart during the winter, is you're nurturing it to a point where it feels ready and it is capable of going back out into the real world and kind of fending for itself, but still learning from your heart wisdom what to do next and what's right. So I like to think of winter, when you ease into it, it's very desolate. I mean, it's you've run out of energy. You're probably exhausted from everything you've been through in the fall season, learning those lessons. And when you go into the winter, it's with a heavy heart usually. And you have to sort all that out, and you feel so much lighter by the time you're ready to graduate from your winter season. And there's an experience of creative birth. So something inside you has changed that has energized you to want to share it with the world. And so that winter season is that creative process that you really ease into it, sink into it, and nurture it until you can heal the wounds that have happened through the hurt that often comes with the fall season, and all of a sudden feel okay with it and feel alive again and vibrant and vivacious and ready. So readiness is the graduation from winter. And only your heart knows when you're truly ready. I mean, it's one thing to, put your party dress on and go out on a night that you really just don't feel like it. And sometimes the most amazing things happen when you do that. But if you didn't go into it with a heart that was fully ready, that's not the end of your winter season. It's just a summery kind of day, maybe, but it's not the end of the season. So the end of winter is when you truly, in your heart, know that things have changed inside you, that you have changed. You are a different woman than you came into hibernation as, and you are ready to emerge back out into the world as this new version of yourself, as this more vibrant, alive, awake version of yourself. And that readiness is your graduation from winter. And so spring is everything that spring is in nature. It's the blossoming, it's the pollinating, it's the social butterfly, it's the coming back to life, it's the snow melting from the cold, cold winter and feeling that warmth of the sun back on your skin, and emerging from hibernation and getting curious about who's out there, what's out there, what you can make of it, what you can do with it, who can engage with you in those activities. So spring is a flirtatious season. So whether it was winter in relationship or in solitude, when you come out of it, it's flirtatious. So if you're single, it's going back out into the dating world, or at least being open to someone talking to you and continuing that conversation. It's being open to possibly letting friends send you on blind dates, or at least schedule them. It's being open to maybe starting or restarting that online profile. If you're in a marriage or if you're in a relationship, it's just being flirty again, being open. It's opening your heart, it's opening your life experience to allow someone else back in. So winter, you were rather closed. You didn't want them close to you. You couldn't handle them close to you. Spring is opening that heart up. So in yoga, they talk about heart opener positions. And so spring is the heart opener for your life, and letting energy back in, engaging with other people's energy, having the energy to do that. So if you're in a marriage, it's being willing to cook for them, or have sex with them, or play, just doing fun things with them to open the door back up to the possibility that things are working themselves out, that you are entering it into as a new person. Like you've healed whatever you could heal on your side of it, whether you're single or in relationship. Really anything in relationship to heal is really just you healing your side of it, and then it reflecting that back to you in the relationship. So often winter is a season of healing, and spring is a season of putting yourself back out there to whoever that may be. It could be just engaging in your own hobbies again that you may have not had energy for during that winter season. So even if you're still single and still enjoying or appreciating, or at least embracing your solitude, spring can still come and be just joining meetup groups to hike with fellow women, or go on camping trips or ski trips, or networking events, or just picking up the phone and reconnecting with friends that maybe you haven't connected with in too long, because you just didn't have the energy to give. And so spring, you have that energy to not only receive but to give. Spring is, I like to think of it of everything that is in nature. If, as far as what to wear and how to show up in the world, it's flirty, it's romantic, it's if you've got floral prints, it's a great time for it. If you've got flowy dresses that accentuate your best assets, that's a great time for it. You're just open. You have no expectations. You may not even be interested in commitment at this point. You're just willing to see what's out there. You're willing to explore your curiosity and pursue your joy and see what that brings, see what that does. Spring is fun. Spring and fall are both seasons of transition. The real weight of the seasons is in winter and summer, and winter and summer are an even balance of each other. So however deep you go in the winter is how high and happy you can be in the summer. So they are equivalent, and then wrapped around those are fall and spring. So oftentimes fall and spring are dating seasons. So learning your lessons often through dating in the fall, and then exploring your curiosity and your joy in the spring. So if you're in a marriage, if you're already in relationship, there are still seasons of transition. Obviously, you're probably not dating other people, but it's still a season of exploration and trying new things and seeing what works and what doesn't. It's just that fall oftentimes is with a bit of a heavier heart and more expectation and trying to be, do, or have fulfilling those expectations, where spring, you enter it as a new woman and you no longer have an attachment to those expectations. You're just willing to put yourself out there. So spring is a season of transition only in experimentation and exploration. So it's a bit more fun, it's a bit more lighthearted in the spring, but it's still transition. It's still seeing what is in alignment with your true sense of self and finding reflections of that outside of yourself. So have fun with it. This is one where you just get to be bold, be daring, be brave, be a scientist and experiment, and you can have an hypothesis of how things will go, but you're not attached to it. You're not entering into it with expectations, because you've healed the parts of you over the winter that had those expectations, and you've come to accept that being alone is better than settling for something in the effort to try and fulfill those expectations, to the point where you've come to realize in your aloneness that you are fine and whole without whatever those expectations were supposed to fulfill. And you can move into this world in a more playful manner, in a more excited, and there's no more fear of what if it doesn't happen, because you've come to terms with the acceptance and the truth of you being totally whole and complete and fine if they don't. If whatever those expectations don't come true, you've come to the realization through the healing of your winter that that's okay. That life is exactly as it's meant to be for you in this moment. You have all the resources and tools necessary to make the most of your life in this moment, exactly as you are, exactly as it is, and you are ready to go out and do that. And that is what spring is for. So spring, I invite you to have fun, explore new hobbies, try things that you hadn't been willing to try before, and see what happens, see what feels good. Stick with the ones that feel good, drop the ones that feel heavy. I don't want to say that feel awkward or even bad, because sometimes awkward is a good thing, because it means we're going outside of our comfort zone. And I want you to give yourself permission to be a beginner at anything you try for the first time. It may not go smoothly the first or even fifth or multiple times, but if you're still finding joy in the growth process or joy in the pursuit of getting better at it, then stick with it. You know, awkward is okay, and even bad. I mean, we all kind of have our bad days, but if you're still feeling like your heart is drawn to the direction that it's headed, to the possibility that that opens by pursuing that bad moment, if it's wrapped in more joy and more lightness than heaviness, I invite you to stick with it, you know, because you never know when that breakthrough might happen, and spring is the opportunity to explore those opportunities. So allow yourself to get weird with it, to try on new styles, to try on, you know, we all, as much as the growth process is peeling away the layers of the masks that society has put on us to wear in different situations around different people, sometimes spring is trying on new masks and just seeing, you know, what would it, I mean, even in high school, I remember, you know, certain groups of kids dressed certain ways. There was the skater kids, there was the country kids, there was the goth, emo kids. And I, as an artistic, aesthetic person, just wanted to try it all. I would dress totally ghetto one day and totally skater the next and totally preppy the next, just to see what it felt like, to see what parts of it resonated as true for me. Because I didn't feel defined by any one niche. I just wanted to explore what parts of those. I felt like little bits of everything pulled out of the ethers and pulled out of those styles would define my own unique style. So spring is an opportunity to try things on that may not be you, may not feel right, but there's going to be some part of it that either wakes up something inside of you or makes a clear no inside of you that you're like, absolutely not, so you can cross that off your list and never deal with that again. But I find that fall is more about finding the no in things, finding the wrong guys, finding the wrong jobs, finding the wrong style, whatever it is. Fall tends to bring that out more because it's wanting to trigger you into discovering those things about yourself. Whereas spring is more finding the yes, just opening your heart to unexpected yes in people, in jobs, in opportunities to travel and new hobbies, and just say yes when you would normally say no at least once, just to see where it might lead. So be willing to be open to new experiences in your spring season, and that includes in a relationship. Spring is a fun time to try new sexual positions or new sexual turn-ons to get you in the mood, to role play, try different outfits, different scenarios, different locations. Spring is often not real deep, serious conversations, but fun, banter, positive banter, just back and forth, witty conversations, sending hot photos of yourself when you're apart. If you get out of the shower and feel sexy while they may not be home or they may be in the other room. If you have kids, even if the kids are in the room and you're all watching a movie together or something, maybe texting something sexy to each other. Spring is just fun, so have fun with it while you're in your spring season. It is the season of self-expression. So you're expressing yourself. So dress in new ways that you wouldn't have tried before. Create art in new ways that you haven't tried before. Cook in new ways that you haven't tried. And be in relationship in new ways that you haven't tried. So in fall, you found a lot of things that didn't work. So spring is your opportunity to explore new ways of being and new ways of engaging with other people and potentially opening yourself up to your soulmate. So oftentimes the end of spring ends up being dating your soulmate. So we'll talk about the graduation process from spring next week, but I find that it's because people are open and playful and without expectation that spring often ends in that true love energy, because play is such a powerful, creative energy, and so spring is all about that. Pollinate, blossom, have fun, play, be creative, express yourself. That is the invitation for this season. So if you have questions, feel free to hit me up in the Facebook group. I am still getting over whatever we've had for this week. So my son is not with my parents this week because I don't want to share our germs with them. So I don't have daycare opportunities today and tomorrow like I normally would, to post all of the journal prompts and to post this video and email you guys as much and as quickly as I normally would this week. So I invite you to catch the live here. I'll try to send out what I can. But always, you're welcome to text me if you have questions or things that you want to bounce off for a new perspective. I am fully available for that. I welcome that. I love connecting with you on a deeper level when I can. So while it may not be as structured as usual this week, I still want to be in connection with you as much, if not more than usual, because of that. So that is your introduction to the spring season. I'm sure some of you see reflections of that in your own life, so feel free to dive deeper into what that looks like and how you want to be in that season for yourself and in your relationship or in your love life, whether that's with yourself or with your significant other. And play with it. Have fun. I invite you to just be lighthearted with this. Don't get too serious with it, and see where being open might lead to new and wonderful, exciting things. Share with me how that works out for you, and I look forward to connecting with all of you soon. I love you so much. Have a great week.